This is the 1970 Dodge Charger Supercharged. It's a 1/10 scale on-road RC car featuring the iconic American muscle car body with electric headlight covers, brushless electronics, and more. So today, let's take it out of the box, do some driving, and see how fast it goes. Now, the 1970 Dodge Charger is a ready-set vehicle from Kyosho, so the car comes ready to go right out of the box, being fully assembled with programmed electronics and a fully decorated and painted body. Batteries are required and not included. For the car, it requires a 2-cell LiPo, and the transmitter requires 4 AA's. Now, this new Dodge Charger is not exactly a first of its kind because Kyosho has been offering scale realistic on-road cars for several years, and they all use the same Mk2 chassis platform. They just have different body options available, and there's a lot to choose from. Now, what is new is that for the first time, Kyosho has equipped this car with high-performance brushless electronics, which are a lot more powerful than the brushed electronics that come with the other cars. The end result? This Dodge Charger costs more money than the other models, but it's going to be faster and it offers more scale functionality. Now, even just sitting still, the 1970 Dodge Charger body looks fantastic and is every bit for the car collector as it is for the RC enthusiast. Dodge fans will know 1970 was the last year the Gen 2 body style was produced, and Dodge marketed as a luxury sports car with defining features like the fastback roofline, undivided grille, hidden headlights, racing fuel cap, and more. As this old 1970 Charger TV commercial shows, the car attracts a lot of attention.
Charlotte, will you be my... My... Oh, my.
It's a gorgeous car. What is it?
It's a new Dodge Charger. A Dodge Charger 500.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Now, it may be 2022, 52 years later, but the RC car version is still pretty dynamite.
Yeah.
And looks pretty darn near just like the real thing with its 2-door fastback design and unique grille area. Now, the overall body shell is made from a flexible Lexan material with accessories and details added on using molded plastic or decals. One of the biggest areas of detail is the full-length front grille, which has been nicknamed the electric shaver, and it looks darn near real. Now, in the out-of-the-box configuration, the headlight covers are locked in their open position, and they do not function unless you add a sub-micro servo separately, which we'll talk more about in a minute. For the remaining front end of the Charger, decals are used for the Dodge branding, blinkers, and the lip. For the actual headlights, they're hard plastic functional lenses that can be equipped with 2 5mm LEDs on each side, but again, only optionally. And Kyosho conveniently offers LED light kits in a few combinations with white and red color options in 2 and 4 light strings, and they'll bolt right on. Now, moving up the scale body is our Supercharger, which is a hard plastic chrome piece and looks fantastic, but it's actually attached to the chassis for extra strength, not the body. In the spirit of be a lot cooler if you did, the butterfly valves open and close by hand. Behind that Supercharger, you'll find hard plastic molded windshield wipers, and they're not functional. Surrounding the windshield, and all the other windows for that matter, are tinted decals that double as a black window trim. For the door locks and handles, they're decals. For the side mirrors, they're molded hard plastic featuring little reflective decals. Moving towards the back, you'll find more Charger branded decals, and on the left side only is our hard plastic molded racing style fuel cap. Now, all the way in the back, we get to our red racing stripes, and you can see the visibility of the button head screws that secure the rear end to the Lexan body, because this is a pretty robust rear end with hard plastic molded light section featuring pretty long taillights that also accept 5mm LEDs, and you can equip 3 LEDs on each side for a total of 6 LEDs in the rear end. Combine that with the front end LED options, and that's 10 LEDs this body can accept to create the ultimate scale body. So, how fast is the brushless 1970 Dodge Charger? Well, to test this, we charged up a 2-cell LiPo battery, grabbed our GPS speed meter, and set off to do some passes. After a few minutes back and forth, the end result, we achieved a top speed of 37 miles per hour. The car feels like it's geared really conservatively, and it has a lot of torque on the bottom end. Now what's interesting is that the included ESC is the Brain's 1060 amp, and it's 2-cell and 3-cell LiPo battery compatible. The motor, on the other hand, is a 4000 kV Torx 10E 4-pole, and it's only 2-cell LiPo compatible, but it is equipped with an upgraded sinter pinion gear to handle that brushless system. One other upgrade on this car is the optional red aluminum center drive shaft. That's normally a hop-up sold separately, but it's included to handle the high-powered brushless system. Those speedruns out there were the first chance we had to drive the car and give it a shakedown, and here is our first impressions of driving it.
So this is our first time driving the car, and the steering on it, when you initially steer, is kind of twitchy. It's got a lot more initial steering than some of the older Fazers, and I wonder if it's from some of the extra weight from that blower being up there, and then the other parts associated with it. The car's really torquey though.
Now with a battery in the car to achieve our driving weight, this is our ride height, and the front does slope down a little bit. It's lower than the rear. But there is an easy remedy to level this out by adding some of these clips here onto the shocks. You can add clips to the front to raise it up, or you can just remove some from the rear to lower that. Now these adjustments are really easy, and they're a convenient way to experiment with tuning, with the end goal that the car is easy and comfortable to drive. Moving on. For more bashing, we later went to this baked driveway area near where we do our speed runs, and we blasted the car around pretty good. Initially, it's a little hard to get over the anxiety of potentially damaging the body, but eventually the comfort sets in and you just send it.
Yeah. That was a lot of just wide open throttle right there doing these big donuts. Let's see what the motor temp's like. Nah, it's not that bad.
Some of you may have seen the Drifter series that we've been doing recently, and as a result, we have a bunch of drift carpet tires. So, here's what the Dodge Charger looks like drifting around on Yokomo DRC carpet drift tires. The Dodge Charger is not designed to be a proper drift car, but with the right tires, it'll get sideways and power slide around pretty well. It may not be winning any trophies at the local drift competition, and the steering angles are pretty shallow for controlled drifting, but it's fun to do, and another element to what's possible with the car. One upgrade to make drifting a little bit better is the optional Kyosho 331 receiver that features a built-in steering gyro with adjustable gain. These steering gyros can help quite a bit with getting sideways, or if you just want a little extra stability in loose conditions. I know this may not be proper for this era of vehicle, but don't these white wheels look super cool on here? They give me like a sporty beach cruiser vibes, and I'm really digging it. Now that look ties in well to the last piece of scale realism for this Dodge Charger, and it's a feature the real car included way back in 1970, and they're the electronic headlight covers.
Hey, where are the headlights?
They're hidden where the bumper loops around the grill.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Now these covers are controlled via a third channel switch on the transmitter and powered via a sub-micro servo that mounts under the supercharger. This function only works optionally once the user has added a sub-micro servo separately, and the user also must set this up, which is also pretty easy and it's outlined in the manual, but we'll show you right now. First, we want the manual and the bag of extra parts that were included with the car. Now we need to remove the locking screws from the flaps so they move freely because they come locked in the open position. Next, we screw the connecting post that was included to each flap so they now move together. On that connecting post, we now install a control arm that just dangles on there and it's locked in place with a body clip. Next, we remove the supercharger from the chassis by removing the lower body clips from the body posts and then unclipping the back and pulling straight up. Next, we do a dry run on the Servo Fitment before we install it. And the servo that we're using for this is the upgraded servo for the Axial SCX24, the EcoPower 827, and it fits perfect. Now before we mount it, we want to connect the servo to power and orient the spline position correctly before we install the control arm. So we'll plug in this new servo to channel 3 on our receiver with the polarity matching the other plugs, and then we turn on the transmitter and the car. Now, with the 3rd channel button on the transmitter at the top setting, the control arm installs in this orientation as shown in the manual. Now, something to note is that the spline count for that included horn is unknown and it doesn't say. And with our submicro servo, that horn fits kind of loosely. It didn't have a real nice snug fit. So to remedy this, we cut out these little plastic squares that we can mount on the spline underneath the horn. So when it's all sandwiched together, it creates a much snugger and tighter fit. This is a solution that does not work on heavy load applications because it will strip out. But for this application with those moving headlight covers, it's okay, it's a low load application and it works just fine. Now, with the control arm installed on the servo, we can mount the servo to the supercharger base and reinstall that base to the chassis. There's one last control arm that secures to the existing arm in the body with an O-ring and a screw, and this provides some adjustable length to fine-tune the movement. Now the procedure to mount the body is a little different now because you have to first connect the headlight covers. I found that leaning down the front of the body to mate the arm in the body to the arm in the car to be the easiest, and then you just add a body clip with some needle nose pliers to lock it in. Afterwards, you still have to secure the rest of the body normally. Guys, go check out the super scaled 1970 Dodge Charger with our links down below. And for more RC, check out these videos.